Okay, real talk. How many of you have said this to yourself at some point? I just need to be more disciplined. Yeah, me too. I see you out there. And here's my follow up question though. How's that been working for you? Because what I've noticed is telling yourself that to just be more disciplined is roughly as effective as telling yourself to just be taller. It feels kind of like a plan, but it's not one. Discipline is not a switch you flip. It's not a personality trait you either have or you don't. And if you've been beating yourself up because you feel like you just don't have the willpower to build that thing you know you're supposed to build, then I want to offer a completely different diagnosis today. You don't have a discipline problem. I believe you have a systems problem. And those are very different things with very different solutions. So let's get into it. We have a cultural narrative about what a successful, disciplined person looks like. They're the 5 a.m. club, the ice bath people, the 2-hour morning routine folks. They are willpower machines that just seem to do hard things effortlessly. And then there's the rest of us, right? Hitting the snooze and feeling vaguely guilty about it. But here's what nobody tells you about those supposed super disciplined people. Most of them aren't running on willpower. They're running on systems in a carefully designed environment. They don't decide each morning whether to work out or not. The decision's already made because, see, the shoes have been put by the door and the gym bag is packed and the time is blocked on the calendar. The system already removed the decision. So here's the thing about willpower. It's actually a limited resource because the more decisions you have to make throughout the day, the more decision fatigue you feel. And that's not weakness. That's just how human beings are wired. So the people who seem the most consistent, they've automated this disciplined behavior through structure and design. And that's not some special gift or talent. That's engineering. And you can engineer your way to consistency too. But here's an important point, and I believe a lot of people miss it. I've seen people build really beautiful systems and still not move. You know why? Because deep down, they're carrying something, a nagging suspicion that they're just the kind of person who can't get things done. Not lazy, just the person who starts something and is unable to finish, the person who almost makes it. And every time the system called on them to show up, that self-doubt inside of them put that incoming call on silent. So before we talk about systems, and we're going to talk about systems, I need to say this. Systems work best when the person using them actually believes they're the kind of person who follows through. Identity and systems have to work together, and we'll come back to that. But let me take you back to when I was a track athlete in college. I was a triple jumper and I was pretty decent, but at this point in my college career, I hadn't won anything substantial. I did the workout plans, I followed the meal plan, I used the systems, but my progress hadn't shown up on the medal stand until we had a meet at our home track and I lost to a rival competitor by a small margin. And that day, something shifted in me because I shook my competitor's hand, congratulated him on his win, and then said, but conference is coming, meaning you won today, but when the meet that really matters most for our conference arrives, you better watch out because I'm coming. It was a bold statement, not meant to intimidate, but it came from a deep-seated belief that I was going to do better than I did today. It was simple, unveiled confidence. And so the conference meet came, and I jumped farther than I'd ever jumped before. I won the conference, and a few weeks later, made it to the medal stand at our national meet as well. What changed? It was my belief. Belief is what transformed me from a decent track athlete to an all-American track athlete. This was belief and systems working hand in hand. All right, so let's move on. There are 3 systems that every aspiring entrepreneur, creator, innovator needs, and most people skip all 3. So let's walk through them together. System 1 is a clarity system, okay? Before you can move consistently, you have to know consistently what you're moving towards, not a vague goal, a specific, written, visible target. I'm talking about a single sentence that answers 3 questions. Who am I helping? What am I helping them do or overcome? And why does it matter? Write it down. Put it somewhere you can see it every day, your mirror, your phone lock screen, on top of your notebook, just somewhere where it's in front of you. Because here's what happens without this. Every day you wake up and your brain has to redecide what you're doing and why. And that redeciding costs energy. Some days you decide well, some days you decide wrong, and some days you don't really decide at all, and the day just kind of happens to you. A clarity system means the vision is already decided. You're not redeciding every morning. You're just executing on what's already clear. Okay. System 2, a daily action system. This one is where people think they need more discipline. And what they actually need is pre-committed, protected window of time, even a small one. Not, I'll work on my business when I have time. There's no when I have time. Time doesn't just show up at our door with a gift basket and a coupon that says, use me whenever you feel like it. You have to take it. Even 30 minutes a day that's protected, consistent, and non-negotiable will outperform 3 hours of scattered, guilt-ridden, I'll get to it eventually effort every single time. Consistency beats volume every time. This is how things actually get built, not in heroic all-nighters, but in small, faithful, daily steps. Think about it like this. A musician doesn't get better by practicing 8 hours one day and then nothing for 2 weeks, right? They get better by showing up every day, even when it's just 30 minutes, and doing the work consistently over time. I remember learning the guitar through commercial breaks of my favorite shows. Eventually, the finger placement became natural. I didn't have to think about strumming patterns. Making music with a guitar became fluid through consistent time, even small bits of time. Building your business or going after your goal works the same way. Show up consistently in small windows of time and watch what starts to compound. Now, by the way, this is an aside and probably hits a small percentage of the people watching this video. But if you're one of the fortunate ones who has consistent large amounts of time to put towards your goal, then by all means, use those large amounts of time. The key is not small amounts of time or whatever like that. The key is consistent and protected time. Okay, now back to our regularly scheduled programming. System 3, an accountability system. And I say this one last because I genuinely believe it's the most underestimated of the 3. And I say this as someone who has spent a few decades journeying with people, watching what happens when this is present and what happens when it's not. Human beings, they just don't seem to be built for solo pursuit. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a few people who've done amazing things solo, single moms, for example. Okay, y'all do a great job. But I believe that we're wired for community, for someone to witness what we're building, for someone to hold the vision with us when we're having a hard time holding it ourselves. Now, I know some of you are feeling super uncomfortable right now, just at the thought of bringing someone else into this audacious goal, and that just gives you the heebie-jeebies. You're thinking, I don't want to bother anybody with this, or I don't want anybody to think I don't have it together, or I especially don't want someone having their noses in my business. And I get it, but let me push back a bit. Not having it all together, that's just called being human. Quietly giving up on your dreams so nobody sees you struggle, that's a much bigger problem. Find your person or your group. Find someone you respect who knows what you're building, checks in regularly, and won't accept a good excuse in place of real movement. And I want to be clear, this is not about having someone put pressure on you, reminding you of all the ways your work is subpar and trying to tell you what decisions to make. Stay far away from those people. It's really about presence. It's about having someone in your corner who says, I see what you're doing and I believe in it. I believe in you, and I'm not going to let you quietly quit on this. I've watched this for a long time, and we're just not built to do this alone. And I don't think community is really optional. I think it's part of design. All right. I want to bring this full circle because it matters. Systems alone will not save you. I said it earlier, and I want to come back to it. The full picture is this: identity plus systems plus consistent action. Your identity tells you who you are. Your systems remove the friction, and your consistent action builds the evidence that confirms the identity. And the cycle builds on itself over time. So if you believe you're the kind of person who follows through, your systems have something to work with. And if you don't believe that yet, the first job is starting to build that belief, one small kept commitment at a time. That is why practical steps matter so much. They're not just tactics, they're evidence. Every time you do a small thing you said you were going to do, you're telling self-doubt, see, I told you I could. This same pattern works in people's faith, in their relationships, in businesses. The mechanism is the same. Believe rightly, build structure, move consistently. And that cycle builds things and builds really good things. Okay, so let's build your system. Not someday, I mean like right now. Here are 4 practical steps to getting your systems actually working. Step 1, write one sentence. Not a paragraph, not a vision board. One sentence that answers, who am I helping? What am I helping them do? And why does it matter? This becomes a very clear anchor. Everything you build, every piece of content you create, every decision about what to work on next, you run it through this sentence. If it fits, it stays. If it doesn't, it goes. A lot of people skip this because they feel like it's too simple. But simple is the point. You need something you can look at in 30 seconds and know immediately whether you're on track or you're drifting. One sentence does that. A 5-page business plan does not. Okay, write it today. Don't wait until it's perfect. Write a working version today and refine it as you go. Okay? Step 2, schedule your window of time and protect it like it's a meeting with someone who matters. Look at your actual week, not your ideal week, but your real week, and find the time that is most consistently available to you. Morning, lunch break, after the kids go to bed, whatever it is, name it, block it, and treat it the way you treat an appointment with someone you deeply respect. You wouldn't cancel on that person because something came up. You wouldn't push it to next week because you didn't feel like it. You'd show up. Show up for that window of time the same way. Okay, and here's the thing. Once the window becomes a habit, you stop negotiating with yourself about whether to show up or not. The decision's already made, and that's the system doing its job. Okay, step 3, eliminate one decision from your work routine. Now, this is the one most people never even think about, but it might be the highest leveraging thing on the list. Okay, if every time you sit down to work, you have to figure out what you're going to work on, you've already spent energy before you've done anything. Decision fatigue is real and can quietly kill your productivity. So ask yourself, what is one decision I make repeatedly that I could just make once and be done with? Maybe it's what to work on first. Maybe it's where you're going to do your work. Maybe it's what tool you're going to use to track your task. Whatever it is, make the decision once, write it down, and then stop remaking it. The goal is to sit down and already know what you're doing. No friction, no warm-up, deliberation, just straight execution. All right, step 4, make a list of potential accountability people and contact them. Make the list and make the appointment to ask if they would help. Having support accountability can be a game changer. So push the awkwardness aside and make the request and see who's willing to show up and support and carry the vision with you. Here's a bonus step. Do a weekly 5-minute systems check. Not a long review, 5 minutes. Answer one question. Did my systems actually serve me well this week? Or did I have to work around them? If you worked around them, something needs to adjust. Maybe the window of time is wrong, or maybe the clarity sentence needs a tweak, or maybe the accountability relationship isn't quite right yet. Systems aren't something you set and forget. They're living structures. A quick weekly check keeps them honest and keeps you from quietly abandoning something that just needed a small adjustment. 5 minutes, same time, every week. That's it. Okay. So you have 4 steps and a bonus. I know that's 5, but we like bonuses, okay? This is not for someday later. Let's go ahead and get started right away. Okay, I'm going to close with this. If you've been sitting on something, an idea, a business, a dream that just keeps coming back, and no matter how many times you set it aside, it's probably not an accident that you watch this video today. I'd love to help you take that next real step. I put together a free resource called From Stuck to Started. It's a short email series built specifically for people who are done waiting and are ready to move. The link is in the description, so go check it out. And if this resonated with you, please share it with someone else who you think this will help. They need to hear this too. And don't forget to subscribe. And I would love if you dropped a comment. Tell me which of the 3 systems you feel like you're missing the most right now. I would love to hear it. So thanks for being here. Now let's go.